So tonight I'm going to try and rebuild my servo rack. Main reason is because these are 3D printed and so they're not very strong. So the whole thing sort of just sways back and forth. Yeah, you can see the back of that switch there is sort of just, yeah. So I'm going to replace these things with these little L brackets I got from Bunnings. Also throughout the process I'm going to rearrange some of the cabling, fix up the power. I'm going to try and maybe make the power cables come out the front because at the moment they're just down the back, just hanging out. So it'd be a bit better if I can access them at the front, move that somewhere else, maybe, possibly. It also would be nice to maybe move everything up a little bit so I don't have to bend down as far, but we'll see. I also realized it must get pretty warm in here because, yeah, that's a bit of a... It's a bit of a bend. Before I do anything, I have to turn everything off. Let's go hardware change. Should I shut everything down properly or should I just yeet the system offline? I might go through and individually turn these off. I'm now getting a bunch of notifications from Uptime Kuma that everything is going offline. I just realized that nothing was loading. And I realized it's because Nginx had been shut down, and so the URLs using to access Proxmox also went down. So I had to switch back to the IP to make sure everything's actually turned off. Anyway, but now that that is all off, I can just hit shut down, and I don't think it really shows anything. I don't really know how I'm gonna go about it, besides from just unplug and rip everything out. Everyone's asleep at the moment, so I don't have to worry about the Wi-Fi. I'm annoying anyone. But I think I am just going to have to unplug everything out the back and just sort of rip it all out. Actually, let's just go into here and just turn everything off. Probably a better way to have done that, but oh well. This stuff up here, which is hooked up to my computer, I'm going to have to also remove that. Might do that first, actually. Ow, I've already cut myself. Yeah, can't really see it. So it's not that bad then. I was like, oh, maybe I should just like, you know, take account of what I'm unplugging and from where, but I'll figure it out. Now these rack studs are pretty cool, except these rack pieces are not standard, or if they are a standard, they're probably like a, what's it called, like an AV standard, because they don't fit these rack studs. So I've either had to actually sand the piece to make it a bit bigger, or I've had to get some side cutters and like cut the rack studs to make them fit. Either option is not great, and that's nothing against the rack studs. These are pretty cool. It's these framing pieces I got, which were $20 each, and you need 4 of them for the 4 legs. Why did I buy them? Because I didn't want to spend $200 on a rack. So I spent $80 on 4 pieces of metal, because the aluminum extrusion in my mind was free because I had bought it 2 years ago. It was actually $230 for the aluminum, but that's a different tax time. This doesn't matter. It was to the point where I was tightening the rack studs. I don't know if you can over tighten them, but I was definitely tightening them because I thought that they were were loose, and that's why everything was sagging. I didn't actually realize the whole frame had moved. Whoa, that's how that happens. And yes, this is just zip tied on. I love this thing. The U7 Pro, very nice, I love it. Not sponsored, I just impulse bought it and it's pretty cool. I did have a plan ages ago to move this to the other side of the room, have it over there, but my mic and headphone are plugged into it, so I'd have to run a really long cable, which I could do. I thought about. I actually made an XLR based cable snake, which I still actually have, and I probably could figure something out for it eventually so I could move everything, but that's fine. Other option is I could just do like a Dante based thing. I was just given a Dante via USB thing, so I could get another one of these and do some cool Dante networking thing, but that's like $400, so not buying another one. I'm now at the point where I realize I now have to actually unplug my network. I should be fine. I took a picture. The picture should be fine. Yank it out. Get out. Get out. And Cloud Gateway Ultra. Also very nice piece of tech. Was another impulse buy. I got like a $200 bonus at work, and I'm like, ooh, this is exactly $200. I have 2 Pis here, but only one of them is actually in use. My plan is I bought a 5 volt, 14 amp power supply. I was gonna set up like 4 of them. I'm just running off of the one power supply. It's just going to go straight into the 5-volt rail, but never got around to it. So I also have this 3D printed patch bay, which it works all right. I'd like to have an actual proper patch bay eventually, but for the meantime, this does the job. I love these. These are from Bunnings. I think it's like a little 12 pack of little like 25 centimeter little patch leads. They're pretty good. Be free. Here comes the switch. Cisco SGE 2010. I got it for $30 on Marketplace. Yeesh. Oh, there we go. It's just tight. Thing just sort of comes out. Oh, lift with your back. Yes, lift with your back. And back. That was the other issue, because these aren't like standard sizings. These parts don't fit in. So I've had to really sand all of these to make them fit. Just a random hard drive. Ooh. Is that it? Yes. Haha. The other one? There we go. Now that those are out, I can go through and remove the current power situation. So my plan is I kind of want to put these like somewhere at the front where I can get to them. So if I do add new things, I don't have to reach all the way through the server rack to get to them. This mess of cables just sitting underneath the servers that were just pain to get in and out just on this specific piece of metal, but I like them. Good idea. Right. Let's pull everything out, I guess. Empty server rack. Very flimsy. Very flimsy. I suppose it's a case of just unbolt everything. I have a whole chest of tools in my garage, but I'm going to use the IKEA wrench. Yeah, so these were 3D printed out of ABS. These themselves weren't actually too bad. It was the fact that I had to use, because I don't have proper T-nuts, I had to basically take a normal M6 and put it in one of these little 3D printed pieces to go into the channel. But the issue that I was finding, and why I think it was all wonky, is because when I was sitting inside of the channel, it was sort of like going on an angle, so the actual nut wasn't staying straight. To rectify that, I have bought 120 washers, which might actually, I don't know if that's going to be enough. Oh well, we'll see. Right, so this is the aftermath of disassembling the rack. I have all of the bits and pieces and all of the aluminum. I'm now going to separate out the verticals, because it's actually 2 pieces of aluminum held together by the rack piece. So I'm going to separate them, put them all in groups of size, and then refigure out a better way for the verticals to keep them the same height. So this is all of the aluminum laid out. And the issue I have is these 4 are different to these 4, and these, like, what, 6 or 8 are different to those 2. So I now have to figure out, with all of these sizings, how to make a rectangle that I can bolt together. Let me figure that out. Current plan is I'm going to use the 4 or the 8 long ones to make 4 verticals, and then use 4 of the shortest ones to make sort of a bracket to make the 2 side panels. Width-wise, I'll use the 2 not as short plus 2 short ones to make the like top and bottom caps to actually do the spacing side to side. Because the issue is none of these are the same width as a 19-inch rack. So I have to, the adjustable portion to the rack has to be the 19-inch part. So my plan for attaching everything is I have these L brackets. This is not one of the pieces that I used, this is just a spare piece. Plan is to go, so I have my nut, put a washer on it, I'll put it through L bracket, put another washer, and then put the actual nut. I keep getting nut and bolt mixed up, but that's fine. Using the little alignment red piece, I'll sort of get the nut and the washer in the gap as painfully as possible. Hard part is trying to keep this bloody red thing on the nut while it tries to go in, because that's what keeps the nut aligned so I can actually bolt it down like that. Haha, cool. In the end, it'll look like that. So I'll have washer, bolt, nut on the inside, and then that way I can tighten this down. Shouldn't go anywhere. There's probably like half of a thread holding the nut on the bolt, but that's fine. Anyway, that's the plan for how I'm going to attach everything. Now, while I figure out a bit more about how I'm gonna put the rest of it together, I'm just gonna do these long pieces first and just get them out of the way, because they're like the easiest piece. It's just 4 nuts holding them on. And then I gotta get the extrusion to also align with both the red piece and the washer. Slide it all the way down. Put the washer on, and that back on, that on, align with both, and then done. Oh no, that one just came undone. That one also just came undone. That I'm going to have the join align with this one that has a little notch in it. So now I have to mount that there. Huzzah! And we have to do that 15 more times. I think I did it. I think I figured out a much more significant, easier, better, perfect, more better way of doing this. You see, at the moment, what I'm doing, I'm grabbing this red thing and a nut. I'm putting the nut inside of the red thing. And then I'm putting a washer on it. Then I'm putting it in the aluminum. And then I'm putting a bolt with another washer on top through it. But what I discovered in my anger is that bolts also fit. Are you catching my drift? So what that means is I could just grab that, put that on it, shove her in there. I haven't actually done this yet. I literally just thought of it. And I'm like, wow, that's gonna make, look, ready for this? I can then just put that on there. Oh, actually, hang on. No, this still might not work because now it's not long enough. Or maybe if I can get something in under to press it up, maybe? Might be able to. Damn it. It's close. It's close to an idea. It's a better idea than what I had before. Sort of. I'll come back. If I didn't have to have this other washer on, it'd be fine. It'd be perfect. Hunky-dory. But the fact that I have to have the other washer on because these are countersunk is what's making this so much more difficult than it needs to be. I did it. I finally got the stupid joint together. It's still using the method of putting the nut on the outside piece, but I just sort of had to like balance it and then sort of thread it, and it just... time to do that 15 more times. So I've hit another roadblock. As you can see there, that's sort of the alignment that I'm gonna have. Do you see the issue? Because that is as close as those two pieces will get. That is as short as that piece will allow me to go. I can go longer. I really don't understand having a deeper rack. I cannot find them anywhere. I can go longer, but that is... So it is day 2. I gave up and went to bed. I have one frame done. It's a lot better than the other one. It still sort of will, like, rock back and forth a little bit, but like there's like no twist to it, so the rocking back and forth is probably just it on the carpet. Working on the second one, because it is now daytime and people are awake, I've had to quickly throw the network back together just to give everyone internet, so I'll have to unplug and move that over once I'm done rebuilding this. But yeah, it's taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to. So now I have both frames done. And I discovered a trick like halfway through doing the second one. Using the IKEA wrench, I was able to basically like put it underneath in between the washer and the piece, slide the whole assembly on, and then it sort of just like would stay in place. Because the issue I was having is the washers would like sit out or sit on an angle and do weird stuff. So using this I was able to hold the washer in place as the whole assembly went through. So IKEA saves the day. Bring it back. roughly in line with everything. It's the sort of thing where like, it might be worth it to put it like hard up against this wall. So then that way I have more room on this side to get in. It's still like wobbly, but it's a lot better than what it was. At least it's rigid. It's a lot more rigid than what it was. Well, let's just start putting rack gear in and see what happens. It fit perfectly. Yes, what I was talking about before. Where did it go? I just had it. Here. So this Cisco switch, the wings are sort of like, I don't think I'd tighten them tight enough. Actually, no, they're pretty tight. Because that's what I thought was happening originally, is I thought that the actual switch itself was sagging. And then that's when I discovered that no, it was the actual frame itself was off kilter. This has screws in the back to have it like rear mounted too. But I am thinking of doing it the other way. Like I'm thinking maybe putting the switch up, having the switch like up there, then the patch panel, then the Arduino, like the Raspberry Pis, and then servers down below. Yeesh. Quickly whack this in. Perfect. Starting to come together. Doesn't look very straight, but I think that's just something looks wonky, but oh well. Look, I built it using scrap, so it's not too bad. Interface in next. Yeah, the shear strength on this is pretty good. Perfect. Could probably add rigidity if I added like corner braces or like struts or something. I am planning eventually on actually putting side panels on so that like there's an airflow sort of thing, but or like a bit of noise dampening at least, but oh well. Panel. And what I might end up doing is I might actually just buy like a rack shelf, and then I'll just put like the UDSC or whatever it's called on the shelf. Put in my uptime Kumar. Now it's just the server. I need to find front right, front left. Whereabouts? Like up here. It works, I suppose. Because what I can do, actually, is I could just bolt these together on the sides, and that'll sort of lock it in place, prevent the front and rear from coming apart. So in theory, I should be able to just pick up a server with my back, and then just slot her in. Ta-da! Rack. Now power is the next thing I need to figure out. So what I'm thinking is I could just like place the Cloud Gateway Ultra, just set it on top of the Cisco, and then the access point I can probably zip tie back up here for now, or put it somewhere else in the room. I have some pretty long cables that I don't need. Yeah, power probably is the next thing I need to figure out. Now normally for servers you'd have them on like a different phase or in a different circuit, so if one gets overloaded, it's all fine. However, I don't have that luxury, so everything is all on the one outlet. I have energy monitors to make sure I don't overload said outlet. Why won't this go in? So I just have one of these little Y power leads. Also meant to be power. This is a spare. This is for other things. Other Dell that is currently dead, so. The next one I'll add is this Cisco switch. Just run it down the side. The way I sort of have it set up is like one side is the networking and the other side is the servers. So I can sort of monitor the difference between the two. Technically a server. I had my Pis the wrong way around. That's my currently used one. That is the unused one. Not really bothering too much with cable management. That was the whole point of this, but it's not happening. What'll I have to do? Switch is powered, Pi is powered, Dell's powered, NAS is powered, NAS is connected, server is connected. Security. Yeah, it's not great to have Wi-Fi on top of networking, or on top of audio, but that's fine. I'm here, might as well plug in the audio. Next thing will be, I'm gonna have to take the internet out, which is not a great time to do that. Let's sort of stage things before I have to actually unplug and move things around. So for the moment, I'll just put that on top. It has a lead that will then go right into the front. Internet goes in there. Another lead then goes into PoE. So I just need a longer lead for the PoE. That'll do. So I might use that for my desktop actually. How long are you? Pretty long. Too long. Man, these things get like toasty. Need a zip tie. Won't work over there for the moment. Yeah, that'll do. Where is my side cutters? There they is. Now this has, which cable is attached to this one? Short leads aren't really what I have. I either have like 50 centimeter leads or 50 meter leads. There we go. That'll do. Perfect. So now that will come out of there. I have to go down the bottom somewhere because I put the PoE down the bottom. Internet will just come up from the back. Again, I'm just going to sort of tuck this all in under there. In and out of the way. Where did the PoE go? There. Whew. Thank you for watching me ramble on while I reworked my rack. I had a lot of fun rebuilding it and more fun filming it. If you stuck around this long, thank you, because it means that I'm not boring enough for you to leave. Thanks for watching and bye!